The 1990s, a decade of grunge, Tamagotchis, and apparently some of the best cars ever made. Sure, we had floppy disks and dial-up internet, but let's talk about what really mattered. Cars. Remember when your neighbor's Corolla could survive a zombie apocalypse or at least 300,000 miles of daily abuse? The 90s weren't perfect. No Bluetooth, no Apple CarPlay, and forget backup cameras. But cars from this era had soul, simplicity, and reliability all rolled into metal. Sports cars, trucks, sedans, SUVs, luxury vehicles, every segment had its champions. And most importantly, they were built to last. So why do car enthusiasts still love these 90s machines? Let's find out. By the late 80s, automakers had survived stiff emissions and safety regulations that crippled performance in the 70s and early 80s. Fuel injection, turbochargers, and more precise engine management systems were becoming standard. Honda and Toyota in particular were over-engineering vehicles like the Civic, Accord, and Camry, to the point where they could easily last 300,000 miles or more if maintained properly. And yes, if neglected, these cars could break down, just like any car, but their baseline reliability was unmatched. Suspension design, engine robustness, and simplicity of parts made 90s cars both easy to maintain and fun to drive. Think about it. A Corolla wasn't thrilling on paper, but paired with a high-rev Civic Si engine, instant joy, long-lasting performance, and the cult following for decades. Japanese sports cars exploded in the 90s. The NSX redefined mid-engine performance, blending supercar handling with bulletproof reliability. Mazda's Miata revived the classic British roadster formula with simplicity and driving pleasure, while the RX-7 pushed rotary technology into the mainstream. Mitsubishi 3000 GT, Toyota Supra, and Nissan Skyline. These weren't just cars, they were engineering statements. And many could rival much pricier European supercars in acceleration, handling, and innovation. Over in the US, Ford's Mustang, Cobra, and fourth-generation Camaros proved muscle cars could be modernized without losing soul. Meanwhile, Porsche quietly mastered refinement with the 993 generation 911, blending analog driving feel with technological innovation. The result? Sports cars that were fast, engaging, and built to last. And yes, communities, tuning cultures, and aftermarket support exploded thanks to Japanese and American engineering excellence. Isn't that the dream? A car that's thrilling today, still collectible tomorrow, and reliable enough to daily drive? 90s trucks were no joke. Ford F-Series, Chevy CK lines, Dodge Ram, they all hit a sweet spot between utility, durability, and fun. Trucks were designed to do work, but manufacturers also offered performance trims, unique trims, and customization options far beyond today's cookie-cutter trucks. Visibility was better. Interiors were simpler but purposeful. Engines were robust and often naturally aspirated, easy to repair, easy to maintain. SUVs, small off-roaders like the Suzuki Samurai, or large families hauling gear in a Suburban, all showed that diversity in design still mattered. Vans, too, whether luxury or basic transport, were thoughtfully engineered. The Lexus LS400 and Mercedes 500e even trickled luxury features down to accessible cars. And yes, your 90s van could survive a head-on collision with a drunk driver, as some enthusiasts will happily attest. Contrary to popular belief, 90s cars were surprisingly safe. Fatalities per 100,000 people in the late 90s hovered around 15, remarkably close to today's 13 to 14 despite all modern tech. Why? Vehicles were smaller, more predictable, and drivers weren't glued to smartphones. Pedestrian visibility was better, and cars weren't excessively heavy. Modern safety tech, lane assist, cameras, autonomous braking is great in theory, but many features exist to compensate for overly complex, oversized, or inattentive drivers. In essence, 90s cars had an elegant trade-off: mechanical simplicity, visibility, and driver engagement that contributed to safer driving outcomes.
The 90s were the peak of car culture. Car meetups, tuning, and community gatherings weren't about flexing wallets. They were about shared passion. You didn't need social media to find a like-minded enthusiast. Clubs, forums, and local meetups built culture organically. From Civic hatchbacks to Supra and Mustang communities, the focus was fun, creativity, and connection, not showing off. And yes, even your first S110 or Grand Voyageur contributed to lifelong memories. So, are 90s cars objectively better than today's tech-laden machines? Maybe not in every spec. But they were reliable, fun, diverse, and downright lovable. And in a world of overly complex vehicles, sometimes less is more. Wouldn't you rather drive a mid-90s Accord or Supra that lasts forever than a touchscreen heavy modern car that's already glitching out? Share your favorite 90s car in the comments and let us know why it still holds a special place in your garage and in your heart. Drive safe and keep the 90s spirit alive.